Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. Welcome back to Swaroop IT Learning Solutions. Now, in the part 1 video of SEPM, that is Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager, we have already learned following steps. So first, we have made an introduction with the SEPM, what is Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager, theoretical concepts. Then we have created our Symantec antivirus server lab setup for our SEPM, that is server systems plus client systems through Hyper-V. Third, we have understood, implemented and configured our SEPM, that is Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager's communication port matrix. And fourth, we have installed our SQL server for SEPM database requirement, that is SQL 2022. And finally, we have installed our actual SEPM, Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager software on SEPM server system. So these 5 steps we have already covered in the previous part 1 video. Now in this part 2 video, we will learn the first point, major point. We will learn that how to manage your admin accounts in SEPM, how to create additional admin account, how to manage them. And second, we will learn the SEPM console management. And third and final point, we will be looking for the SEPM activation methods, how you can activate your SEPM, that is Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager product. So in lies with the above 3 points, we will practically execute following steps in this particular part 2 video. The first point will be actually practically see how to manage your SEPM console management. Okay, so console, in this particular console management, we will logging locally through SEPM server console. That is the first step. Then second, we will be creating an additional SEPM administrator account. Third, we will be logging remotely through web console, that is some other machine remotely through web console on a SEPM console, that will be called as a web console. And next we will be launching our SEPM local console, that is not web console, local console from a remote system, means from some other system, but a local console will be launched and we can manage from a remote system also through that local console. And second point is, of course, we will be verifying how the SEPM product activation will be done through your serial file or through your license file, through your serial number or through your license file. Okay, so this will be the agenda for this part 2 video. So let's start. So step number 1, log into SEPM server through SEPM admin account. So I have already logged in on SEPM VM. If you remember, we have created this VM in the last video part number 1, and I have logged in through the SEPM admin account through our domain account, right? So the first step we have already done. Let's come into the step. So step number 2, we need to open the local SEPM, Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console locally. So for that we need to click on Start Symantec Endpoint Protection, that is folder, and under that there is the icon called Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager. So I will go to my SEPM system, Start, and it is a Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager. This is a folder icon. If I am further clicking on it, it will give me some sub menus. So I have to click on this icon, Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager. Okay, so instead of clicking on it, first I will just drag it down to the task manager so that I don't have to open it again and again through start menu. And now I will click on it. So you can see it has launched my local Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console, local console. Okay. Step 3. So we have to enter the username as admin and password of that particular admin and click on log on. Now the thing here to note that when we are doing the installation, the product installation for the first time, Symantec Endpoint Protection, this admin account is by default getting created. This is a default account because we need some kind of an account at first point of time to log into your SEPM console. So admin account is a default account, and if you remember, we have configured this particular admin account by the time of installation in the part 1 video. Okay, so this is the admin, username is admin, and I am putting the password over here. Okay, this is my password, whatever we have defined in the previous video part 1. Okay, and you can note down the port number also, 8443. That particular port also we have configured through our Active Directory firewall options. We have allowed this port. Okay, otherwise we will be not able to log in with the local console. Okay, let's go back to our PPT for the next step. So once you say log on, it will ask for accepting your certificate, that is server certificate. So we have to accept always. So I will click on here, first log on, and now this particular security warning wizard will come. I will say accept always because we don't want to generate this certificate warning again and again. So I will say accept always. So now it is logging on my management server. So this is a very first and basic step to log on to your local console using the default admin account. Okay, it may be a very small step, but we need to understand that our admin account is by default already created by the time of our product installation. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is, once logged on SEPM console, close the getting started page. So getting started page is something like it will pop up automatically once you logged in, and it will show some of the very basic stuff, some of the very common tasks which you can perform through your SEPM console. But as of now, we are not executing all those tasks. We will be doing it in a further practical modules. So as of now, I am closing this one and I am coming back to my main console. Okay, so this is my main SEPM console. So next step is, from main SEPM Symantec Endpoint Protection console, click on admin and administrators and add an administrator option. So now I will be creating one more additional administrator account apart from admin. In a practical mode, in an operations mode, it is always advisable to create at least one administrator account which will be having a same kind of an full admin rights apart from your default admin account. Suppose your default admin account's password you forgot, or suppose your secondary admin account's password you forgot, so you are always having one kind of an backup account, admin account in place. So it is always advisable not to use the default admin account. For operations purpose, you can create additional accounts and you can give as many as rights as you want for that additional account. So I am creating one more additional full admin account. Okay, so I have to click on admin, and here you can see over here there is an sub tab over here, administrators. Okay, so from here you can see already created the product installation default account. Admin is already there, so this admin account also we can manage from here. We can rename this particular admin account, we can change the password, we can edit the administrator account for its rights, we can delete this particular account also, and we can add an additional account. So as of now we will be adding a second admin account, so I will click on add an administrator. Okay, so you can see this option, add an administrator, we have already clicked. So next is in the add administrator window we need to provide some basic information. So in the general tab we need to input the values as shown in the sideline figure. So I will do the same. I will go back to my SEPM server and I will put the username as SEPM admin. Okay, and in the full name I will put the same kind of an understandable full name. Email address, you should give the proper and valid email address, but as of now for this particular lab setup or video purpose I am just giving an dummy email address. And the third setting over here is if you are giving the wrong password attempts, you can specify the number of wrong password attempts, after which the account will get locked. So this will make sure that the unauthorized access will not happen in your real production scenario. So as of now I am keeping this as a default one. Okay, and what will be, once this particular account is locked, what will be the duration for which it will remain locked? So it will be a 15 minutes. Okay, so I will keep those default value as it is. If you want, you can change those values according to your requirement. And now this general tab is completed. Let's move on to our next step. So on the same page, add administrator, access rights tab, select system administrator. So I will explain you what this tab is all about. So I'm coming back to my SEPM, and now access right, you can see there are three types of administrative levels you can select. The first one is a full system administrator, where if you are having a multiple SEPM sites, you will be having an enterprise level of admin access. All the sites you can manage, you can change the settings for these ones. Okay, second level is an administrator for a particular site, means only for this site. And third is a limited or a customized administrator, where you can actually having some kind of unlimited administrator rights, and you can define those rights, that view reports, manage groups, site rights, and all these things you can define accordingly. So if I'm selecting, I'm just giving you the demo over here. If I'm selecting, I can click on this view reports and I can give the reporting rights accordingly. Okay, so on which computers I will be having the IP addresses and all for running the reports. If I'm have to manage the groups, what kind of, if I'm clicking this, then what kind of group rights I will be having. So this is a kind of an customized administrator. Now this option is helpful if you need to give multiple people, multiple administrators kind of an rights. Okay, but if you need to give a full access to a particular entity, then you can select the first option. So I will select the first option over here, and I am requiring a full 100% rights to my this SEPM site, as well as if I am creating additional sites in future. So I will select the system administrator option. Okay, let's move on to the next step. On the same page, add administrator page, on the authentication tab, click on directory authentication, directory servers, add an active directory. Okay, so now this is the main function for adding this thing. Now which account I need to create? Okay, I can create a local account which will be only used for my Symantec endpoint protection authentication. That will be created under the local database of my SEPM. The second option is directory authentication. That means I can include my Active Directory account as an administrator for this SEPM console. So if you remember, our SCCM admin account we have already created in the part 1 video. It is an Active Directory account. So that particular account I need to give the access as a full administrator for SEPM also. So I am selecting the second option as in directory authentication. Okay, and next step is I need to click on directory servers, add, and the method of the authentication. So once you select directory authentication, click on directory servers, and here no directory servers have been added, so we need to add our Active Directory server over here. So I will click on add. So now it will show the add directory server window over here. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So in the add directory servers page, provide values as shown in the sideline figure. Okay, so first of all I need to give the name of my Active Directory server, which is Win2022DC. This is my AD server name. If you remember, we have done this in the part 1. I'm again and again repeating about the part 1 video's reference. So it is advisable, if you are viewing this particular video without part 1, then please go to the part 1 video first, completely watch this video, and then only you will get the reference for this particular video number 2. Otherwise it will be a kind of a blackout for you for certain points. So my Active Directory server name is Windows 2022 DC. Now I can select 2 authentication methods. One is Active Directory and one is LDAP. So I don't require an LDAP authentication as of now. Active Directory server is what I'm as of now requiring. Okay, now here I need to give the FQDN of my server or the IP address. So I'm giving my IP address. So 10.1.1.100. Sorry, this is the IP address for my Windows 2022 DC Active Directory server. Okay, now next is I need to give the username, for which I need to add that particular user or the Active Directory user as an administrator. So I need to give the username of that account. So coming back to our PPT, you can see the username is SCCM admin and password is whatever my SCCM admin account. So I am giving the same one. So I have given the password. Now the last option is important. There are 2 kind of ports you can use for the communication. One is your LDAP secure port, that is 636, and one is your default LDAP port, that is 389. So LDAP port, although it is more secure, but it is more complicated. So as of now I am deselecting this option for using the 389 default port. So I am deselecting this particular option. So keep an eye over here. If I am deselecting, it will automatically turn to the 389 port. So if I am deselecting, and you can see it is now 389, and now I will say OK. So now our Active Directory server has been added. Okay. So the step number 11 we have already done. Deselect use the secure connection and click on OK. So this already been done. Now next step is back to the authentication page, select newly added directory server and account as shown in the sideline figure. So I will say OK over here. And now in the directory authentication, I need to select the added server. Okay, and in the account name, I need to give the SCCM admin account name. So what account name I need to give, in which format? Your username @ your domain name. Okay, so I will provide the username now. Okay, so you can see username @ your domain name. And just to verify whether this particular account is successfully getting added into this SEPM console or not, we need to click on check account. Okay, so that is our next step. Click on check account to confirm the account connectivity and click OK. So I will say check account, and you can see verified. It is saying verified that this directory account exists. So it has given the confirmation. I will say OK over here. Okay, and now this particular account has been added. I will say OK over here also. So the next step is we need to verify the newly account created, but before that we just it is asking us to confirm the change over here. So we will confirm with the current admin password. So this is the password which I am adding with the current admin account. I will say OK. So now you can see the second level of admin account has been created, SCCM admin. Okay, and you can see the summary for this particular account, whatever we have given the input while the creation. Full name is whatever this thing, email is this, so number of incorrect login attempts allowed 5, status is offline as of now because we have not logged in, and then we have not logged in on SEPM console. Creation time and whatever log status is not locked. Okay, so we have verified our summary also. Okay, next step is click log off on main SEPM console. Now we need to log off from our SEPM console because we have logged in through admin. So I am logging off, and now I will log in with the SCCM admin account. Okay, it should be the next step for us. So step 16 is through Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager local console. Note down the server port is 8443. This is a generic term because 8443 is required for logging to your SEPM console locally. And the next step is enter the username as SCCM admin and password and click on log on. And now you can see I have given the username as SCCM admin and the password of the SCCM admin account, which is a Active Directory password only. And now I will say log on. Now since this is the first time using the second account, not the admin account, it is again asking for the certificate warning, so I will say accept always. Okay, just a minute, let me see. and now you can see it has logged in with the SCCM admin account. Okay, I will just close this getting started page, and this we have logged in with SCCM admin account through SEPM. So we have created a second admin account through SEPM console. Let's move on to the next step. So we have already done this except always. And we have logged in on SEPM console. We have already closed this getting started page also. Okay. Now we need to again log off from the SEPM main console. Why? Because we need to log in from some other machine. So before going to the step 20, I will log off from here and close this. Okay. Now next step is on Win10 CL system, install the Google Chrome browser. Okay. So I will go to my Win10 CL system. This is my Win10 CL system, and first I will install my Google Chrome browser over here, because we need to launch our web console, SEPM web console, through our web browser. So I am going to my internet system and I will copy this Google Chrome setup from here. We paste this. So now we have just copied the Google Chrome browser standalone installation. I'm just installing it. It will get completed in 2 minutes. Now our Google Chrome browser has been installed. Okay. So now let's move on to the next step. We have already logged in with the SCCM account, and then we need to open our Chrome browser. That is also been done, and type the following address. So we need to type the address as http://sepm9090. So that is our web console address, or web management page, sorry, not web console, web management page address. So I will put as SEPM:9090. I will say enter. So this is our address what we need to enter. I will enter over here, and it will launch our web console, web management page of SEPM. Do remember one important thing, that your 9090 port should be open from either from your firewall or from your Active Directory infra, which we have already done in a part 1 video. Okay, so this will be our web management page for SEPM. Now let's move on to the next step. And now next is we need to open the web console through launch option. So you can see over here there are various options available. You can launch the web console directly from here by clicking the launch. You can download the local console management options from here. Download the Symantec Endpoint Protection Management Console, or you can download the certificate also over here. So as of now, I am clicking on launch to access the web console of my SEPM. So I will say launch. It will give this your connection is not private, so I will say proceed to SEPM. Okay, so now this is my web console what I have launched through my Win10 CL system. So let's move on to our PPT. So this step we have already covered. We have done the proceed to SEPM and safe link, and now we have launched the SEPM web console. So here we need to enter the username as SEPM admin and password for SEPM web console. So here, remember this particular web console I am accessing from Win10 CL system, and you can see if you are familiar enough with the address and port matrix. So 8443, this particular port is being used for our console access. 9090 port is for your web management page, and 8443 for your console, right? So I am putting the SEPM admin over here. Password. Now it is logging through my web console, and you can see it has launched the web console. Again the normal getting started page is coming. I am just closing it out. Since this is a web console, not a local console, it will take just a bit more time to populate all the menu. So let's wait for 1 minute. And you can see now this particular web console is launching itself slowly but surely with all the options. Okay, now this is the web console. This is the second option. The first option we have seen is logging to web console locally through our SEPM server system, and the second option is logging through my web console through Win10 CL system or from any remote system. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. So next step is the next option. Now we have seen the two options. The next option we need to see that how I can download the local console functionality, SEPM local functional capacity from any remote system. That means I am downloading the local console executables on a remote system. So let's first log off from here, from Win10 system, because this web console is done. I'll close this, and now I'll go to my Windows 11 CL system and install the Chrome browser on that machine also. Okay, so I'll copy from here only. Now I will go to my Windows 11 CL system and I will paste it from here. This is a normal requirement for local console since it is running on Java console. So Java has to be installed, but that we will do it in the next part. First we will install our basic browser requirement. And now I will just install the Google Chrome through offline installer. Now we have installed our Google Chrome on Windows 11 CL system also. Let's move on to the next step. So next is, again we have to open the browser and we have to type the same address as SEPM colon 9090 to launch our SEPM web management page. Okay, so I will go back to my Windows 11 CL system. Sorry. Close this. And now I will type the same address SEPM colon 9090 and it will launch my Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager web access page. Okay, let's move on to the next step. So I need to click on the option download Symantec Endpoint Protection Management Console. Okay, so here is the option download Endpoint Protection Management Console. So once I am clicking this, it will start downloading the management console in a zip format, that is something around 87.3 MB. Okay, now this is done. I will go to the download page. Okay, so this is my zip kind of an installation files for my SEPM manager console. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is console will download a SEPM installation zip file. So kindly extract the same in the new folder. So I'm coming back here and I'm just saying extract all, and it will create a new folder with the same name and it will extract the content of that zip file on that particular folder. So I will say extract. So now it is extracting. And now you can see it has created one folder with the same name. Okay, this is the zip file and this is the folder, and within the folder we will be having many installable and library and other console files. Okay, what will be our next step? So next step is, before launching our SEPM console locally on Windows 11 CL system, we need to install our JRE, Java Runtime Environment, on that Windows 11 system, because local console is running through your Java console. So next step is download the latest JRE offline installer through official site and copy the same locally on Windows 11 CL system. So I'll close this first. I'll close everything, and now I will copy my JRE installable on my Windows 11 system. Now I am testing my JRE, Java Runtime Environment installable, and now once this is copied, I need to execute and click on install for installing latest JRE version on Windows 11 CL system. So I will double click on it first. I'll say yes. And I will say install. So it is installing my Java component. So now my Java component has been installed. Let's move on to the next step. So we have already done this step, and for the completion we need to close for the window. I will say close, and I will restart this Windows 11 system once, because we need to make sure that our JR installation completes successfully with a proper restart. I'm logging through SEPM admin account. By the time it is logging, let's move on to the next step. So next step is through Windows 11 CL system, open CMD window as admin access and execute the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console.bat through extracted folder path. Okay. So I'm opening my CMD session first with the admin access. And now I will go to the path of that particular extracted folder where we have extracted our SEPM installable console installable files. Okay, and now I will give the same path over here, and now I need to execute one bat file, that is your batch file. Okay, in order to launch our console locally. Okay, so this is the batch file. If I'm going to this particular path, you can see over here, this is the file what I am launching. If you can't see the extension of it, so let's enable the extensions so that you can have a better view, and you can see this is the batch file over here. Okay, so this batch file we have to run through our CMD window, that is with the admin access. So this is the one. I'm putting enter now. It is calling our batch file, and now this is completed. Now it is giving a normal information. If end user account is enabled, some points of the remote endpoint protection console may not be accessible, so that's fine. Let's move on to our PPT. So click on OK for the UAC information page. So I will say OK, and now it has launched our SEPM console locally on Windows 11 CL system. So once SEPM local console launches itself, log in with the SEPM admin user credentials. And now the local console, I am again underlining the difference. This is a local console what we have launched through our remote system, that is your Windows 11 CL system. So I will say accept always. Just a minute. Okay, so now this is the local console what we have launched through our remote system, Windows 11 CL system. Okay, now again I'm just summarizing the three types of console access options what we have tested in this particular video. First is through SEPM server only, your local console is getting installed by the time of the product installation only. So that is the very basic or very first option to access the SEPM console through SEPM server only. Second option is through any remote system, you can launch it through your web console option. So through web console you don't need to install anything, you just need to type the address on your web browser and you can access your SEPM console through your browser. And third option, this one is like you need to launch the local console through a remote system, you need to download the zip installable files and you need to run the batch file in order to launch our SEPM console locally on that remote system. Okay, so all three options are available for admins to manage your SEPM console. Okay, at the end of each step you will be getting a main SEPM console only. Okay, so you can manage it by whichever option is comfortable as per your access requirements or as per your organization's requirement. Okay, so we have already completed this accept always, and as I said, by the end of we have seen the 4 types of options how you can launch the SEPM console, local and then web console. So by the end of each step number you should have an SEPM console launch on that particular option. Okay, so this particular step completes your console management portion. Okay, now let's move on to the next portion. So review the further options like getting started page and the main console and everything. So that we will do it on a little modules. So let's move on to the next step. Now next step is we need to check the options how we can activate our SEPM product with the licenses files. Okay, so next step is through SEPM main console, click on admin and then licenses part. So we have already launched our SEPM console through Windows 11 CL system, so I will do it from here only. So I will click on admin and here the last option is licenses. So next step is under the task menu, click activate license. So here you will be getting 2 options. I have a serial number and I have a Symantec license file, that is SLF. So both options you can use to activate your SEPM product. Okay, so both options are available for you. So if I am selecting I have a serial number, I will say next and you have to put your serial number over here and you need to submit it. If your serial number is valid, it will activate according to your serial number and validity. And if I am saying I have a license file SLF and if I am putting it next over here, I need to add that particular file, SLF file, and then according to SLF file it will activate my product. So both options are available for me to activate my SEPM product. Okay, so as of now I cannot show you the serial number or for the SLF file for the restrictions, but I just want to show you these options. So this is how you can activate your SEPM product license. Okay, so let's move on to our final step. So as I said, select your preferable option either through a serial number or through your license file, that is .slf, and complete your SEPM activation process. So this is how you can activate your SEPM product. So this completes our video part number 2. Thanks all for your time. This is Sorup IT Solutions. If you like this particular video, do share it with your friends, colleagues, and do subscribe with this particular channel. Thanks all. Have a good day.